yes, there are talent limitations. We're in a pandemic, et cetera, but somebody thought that the good idea to open this television program would be to put Jon Moxley, arguably, along with Jericho, their biggest name star, in the ring with some outlaw guy with a black sock on his head and finger painting on his chest, backed up by the rottenest, most outlaw, most Nick Goulas-ish spot show band of heels that I've ever seen in wrestling in my life. This motley crew makes the fucking stable that I had in Georgia in the summer of '83 look like the Four Horsemen. It's fucking ridiculous. This dying gimmick. Now the two that started this whole fucking wrestling pandemic of a gimmick, the gimmick pandemic, Pizzeria Uno and the one guy that looks like an athlete, Grayson, are stuck in Canada and can't be involved in this. So they've got a bunch of fucking outlaw guys with socks on their faces and Brodie Lee, who gave a promo that sounded like a fucking manager audition promo for a local cable access fucking indie show that guys run in their spare time after their real jobs. Did I make that plain enough? That was the worst interview I've ever heard on national fucking television. There's no emotion. I didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about. He's having these fucking guys. He has the commanding presence of a fucking eggplant. I would, even if him being that big, he doesn't look like he's intimidating anyone because he's so emotionless. He's like playing Robbie the Robot in a fucking low-grade version of fucking Forbidden Planet. Is Ed Wood directing this goddamn television program? Stop me before I sub-reference again. I wouldn't have aired this on Ohio Valley Wrestling Television. It was so bad it gave me an anxiety attack. Then he sent 10 to hurt Moxley. And Moxley then comes into the empty stadium, outdoor arena, amphitheater, from the parking lot, and he should be going, oh, heck yeah, because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin Light. Now, having said that, what did you think of the promo, first of all, before we go to the match?
Last week, I think I said I hated the AEW show. I really hated the entire show this week. The promo and Brodie Lee, since he got there, is not doing anything for me.
It's doing less than that. It's doing things against him or doing things against you. It's making you not want to see this fucking guy anymore. The gimmick, the presentation, the fucking the costuming, the staffing of it, the casting of the Dork Order. But anyway, but then here's the bell rings with 10 and the masked guy and Moxley. And this was one of the better television matches that they have ever presented. Moxley did this part perfectly. He kicked the guy's ass. He got cut off from behind when he was trying to intimidate the referee, because that's his thing that he would do, but Ref Aubrey didn't have any of it. She stood her ground, and then he gets cut off from behind. He lets the guy get some heat on him, but not too much. The guy gets a couple of 1 counts, not even 2 counts. Moxley stayed alive. He fired up. He got stopped again for a second, and then he laid the guy out with his fucking finish. He milked it and walked around while the guy was flat. Yes, he picked the unconscious guy up real quick and hit him with the pile driver, but then he let him lay there again. Obviously, it wasn't like it was killing the fucking finish because the guy's dead. Then he hit finally his other DDT in a lazy cover because he didn't need to fucking hold the guy down, and he made his point. That was the best, most logical match that I've seen Moxley have to do to actually get over, I think, ever. So, remember that Stewie Griffin compliment sandwich where you start with something good, then you hit the criticism, and then you end with something good again? This is going to be the opposite of that. They started with the worst fucking talent promo I've ever seen on Major League fucking wrestling on national cable television, had a real good fucking match to accomplish a point and get a guy over, and then went to complete shit again. Because every piece of goodwill that Moxley built up with me during this fucking match where he did everything right, was completely fucked by the fucking afterbirth. First, Moxley rolls out of the ring and grabs a chair and throws it in over the top rope, and the guy's laying, selling in the ring, and it fucking landed on him, hit him. That was careless as fuck. Could have broke his fucking teeth out. Then he gets another chair, so now he's got 2 chairs in the ring. He rolls in and he traps the guy's arm in the chair like he's going to Pillmanize. That became a phrase in wrestling after Austin and Pillman did that angle with it. You stick the arm or the leg in the chair where the seat is on the arm where you can stomp the seat, but because of the way the chair folds up, it doesn't, unless you really fuck it up, and I've seen guys do that, really doesn't break the fucking bone. But Moxley he traps the guy's arm in the chair, and he's got the other chair in his hand, and now a microphone has appeared in his hand. He was a circus juggler in his previous existence. He's got one chair in one hand. He's got the foot on the chair that's on the guy's arm holding him down. The guy is barely trying to get out. He's making token waving motions with his other arm like, oh, please let me out, sir. And Moxley starts cutting a promo. Remember what I said? Refer to last week. Apparently Mox is not a regular listener of the program. Refer to last week when I said when you've got somebody laying there and you're going into a long-winded promo, if it's a top guy, it buries them. But if it's anybody, it gets old. He's cutting this promo while with one foot he's standing on the chair that's on this guy's arm. The guy's got 2 free legs and a fucking free arm, and he's giving token, if that, resistance. And he's threatening to break this guy's arm. It was horrible and phony because the guy still, my God, he's not a goddamn 90-year-old paraplegic woman. Even if he's taking all of these finishes, he's moving. Because here's another thing. If he just laid there fucking dead, you can't beat a dead horse or a dead body. So the guy has to be conscious, but this shit has to be done with some sense of urgency and believability with people trying to stop it, whatever the fuck. He's standing there on this fucking thing and going on forever and threatening to break this guy's arm. And the guy is not, with every last ounce of energy in his body, kicking and screaming and saying, no, don't do it. Nothing. He just laying there. Then here comes Brodie Lee on the big screen and does another bad promo about the pay-per-view while the guy is in the ring. And because did you catch, Brian, that the screen was behind Moxley? So Moxley had to turn around and look over his shoulder to look up at Brodie Lee while not letting his foot off the chair, or elsewise his prey would escape. Fucking hell. And then Brodie Lee says, well, I'm leaving. And he leaves, and it was about as exciting as it sounded. And they walked out, and of course he left his guy to be. So Moxley then takes the one chair and hits the other chair, which was totally unnecessary because when Austin and Pillman did it, and I guarantee you it got a heck of a lot more attention, drew more money, he just stomped the fucking chair seat. You don't have hitting the chair with another chair while it's on the guy's. It's like putting a hat on a hat. It doesn't even make any sense otherwise than it makes fucking noise. But if you do it right and you stomp it, it makes noise. But what the fuck? He put a hat on a hat. And the guy then sold it like shit because it looked like shit because it was fucking phony. And it took forever. And what the fuck? Right? Were you captivated by that angle?
No. It began a night of a show that I hated.
No, there's where you put in your, oh no.
Yeah, oh no. I did not. I wasn't captivated by this. I had to remind myself several times throughout the show that this was indeed the go-home show to the pay-per-view. No, I didn't care for this at all.
And you didn't have to remind yourself because it was a lack of them telling you. You had to remind yourself because it was a lack of them making you give a shit.
That's exactly right. And we can, I don't know if you have anything in your notes about the commentators, but that's becoming a bigger and bigger problem every single week.
They know that you, I mean, JR a couple times, and we'll get to him. I wrote a couple down, but they know, except for Tony, who I think always gives the impression he's happy to be there. JR's rolling his eyes verbally. I think even fucking Excrement, what's the mask guy's name? Exhibit? Whatever the fuck he knows at this point what the fuck's going on here.
While you could certainly understand why Jim Ross would be rolling his eyes or not thinking anything is that great, the fact that the commentators at times are just joking and laughing with each other while serious stuff's happening, It doesn't seem like they're taking what's happening seriously.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't see a lot of serious stuff happening. And then here's the thing, and I've been there. I don't believe I've been victim of it, but I'm sure somebody will find a tape somewhere where I was joking around as an announcer inappropriately about another subject instead of covering something halfway decent that was going on. You get in that habit when you're sitting there for 30 or 40 minutes watching hoo-ha, and then suddenly seriousness breaks out. It takes a minute for you to realize that, oh shit, this isn't going to suck like the other shit did. You know, there's they have the greatest atmosphere for this. And with all the people now that they've got in this outdoor amphitheater, I find myself forgetting that, you know, there's no people there because they don't have just empty seats everywhere and all lit up and et cetera. And they have people making noise and cheering and booing. So the atmosphere is great, but they just still have no mental discipline to either take themselves seriously, present something that people are going to bite into in a serious way, or just save some of the talent from their worst fucking instincts, which is to just jack off for their friends. Or sometimes what they think is actually good, and we point out is not.